forget labels. You're not one wolf, you're the whole pack. Here are 15 types of the most powerful aura frequencies walking among us right now. Feel free to hover around, and don't forget to comment which one you can resonate with. Each type serves consciousness evolution in specific ways, and each carries shadow aspects that can either refine your influence or make you unconsciously toxic or irrelevant. Number 1. The catalytic disruptors. Do strange coincidences multiply around you, as if reality itself becomes more fluid and unpredictable in your presence? You carry the rarest and most misunderstood energetic signature, the pattern breaker. Your field doesn't stabilize or harmonize like others. It oscillates between multiple frequencies so rapidly that it prevents crystallization in any fixed form. Where others create consistency, you generate productive chaos that keeps life from becoming stagnant. These disruptors serve as evolutionary agents in human consciousness. Comfortable patterns dissolve around them, not through destruction, but through acceleration. Hidden dynamics surface, suppressed truths emerge, and people find themselves saying things they never intended to reveal. Nothing remains static in their vicinity because their field creates constant phase shifts. The synchronicities that follow them aren't supernatural, they're probability cascades. Their rapid frequency changes increase the likelihood of unexpected connections, sudden insights, and breakthrough moments. They don't cause these events directly, but their presence somehow catalyzes the conditions where pattern breaking becomes inevitable. The shadow aspect is isolation. Most people find disruptors simultaneously fascinating and exhausting. Their unpredictable energy creates anxiety in those who need stability, leading to relationships that start intensely but end abruptly when others can't handle the constant change. Heraclitus taught that change is the only constant, that reality flows like a river where you never step in the same water twice. You embody this principle, serving as living reminders that growth requires the courage to let old patterns die so new ones can emerge. Number 2. The autonomous rebels. Do you automatically resist doing something the moment someone tells you it's what you should do, even when you were already planning to do it yourself? You carry the energy signature of absolute autonomy, the defiant spirit that refuses external control on principle. These souls don't rebel against specific ideas or people. They rebel against the very concept of being directed by outside forces. Tell them to turn left, and they'll find 17 reasons why turning right serves a higher purpose. What makes this fascinating is how they handle genuinely good advice. They'll listen, process the information, then either delay implementation to demonstrate it was their choice, or reshape the suggestion so completely that it becomes their own creation. It's not stubbornness, it's an allergic reaction to losing agency over their own decisions. This autonomous field creates what psychologists call psychological reactance, but elevated to an art form. Where most people experience mild to no resistance to being controlled, these rebels experience visceral revulsion. Their energy literally repels attempts at manipulation, creating invisible barriers that pushy people can't penetrate. But here's where it becomes self-defeating. Some rebels reject beneficial opportunities simply because they came with expectations attached. They'll sabotage their own success rather than appear to be following someone else's blueprint, turning independence into a prison of constant opposition. Marcus Aurelius understood that true freedom comes from choosing your responses consciously, not from automatic resistance. Your defiance is powerful when it protects your authentic path, but destructive when it becomes reflexive opposition to everything external. Number 3. The chaos resilient. Have you ever wondered how some people can party till dawn, drink like pirates, and still show up clear-eyed the next morning while you need 3 days to recover from one late night? You're witnessing what psychologists call stress inoculation in human form. These souls possess an unusual energetic architecture. They maintain a stable core while their outer field engages with chaos. Think of them as human shock absorbers, designed to handle impact without internal damage. The fascinating paradox is their unpredictability. One moment they're scattered and intense, the next they're pristine and centered. This isn't inconsistency, it's rapid recalibration. Their energy system resets faster than most people's, allowing them to bounce between extremes without losing their fundamental coherence. But beware the illusion of invincibility, the hidden fractures that go unnoticed until they widen. When you rely too heavily on your ability to bounce back, you might ignore the quiet cracks that form beneath the surface. Small anxieties or aches that whisper warnings you choose not to hear. True mastery for the vibrational bouncer comes from honoring both extremes, riding the wave and tending the hull. Practice Marcus Aurelius's advice. Reflect daily on how each high and low shapes your character. They made their core so rooted, it developed its own energy field. Research by Dr. Ann Maston on psychological resilience shows that some individuals possess what she terms ordinary magic, an ability to maintain function under extraordinary stress. The Stoics would recognize this as the practiced discipline of separating what you can control from what you cannot. Your gift isn't immunity to chaos, it's the capacity to find stillness within storms. But wisdom lies in choosing which storms deserve your engagement. Number 4. The rooted ones. Do you ever feel like you're the only one moving at the right speed, while everyone else races toward nothing? You've seen them in coffee shops, those deliberate souls who stir their drinks with the patience of monks, while others gulp caffeine like fuel. These beings taste every drop. They understand something the rushing world has forgotten, that presence is power. These are the rooted ones. Not slow, but intentional. Every gesture carries weight because it emerges from stillness rather than reaction. They focus on one task, and only one task at a time. While the world runs to multitasking, their bodies know what science confirms, that digestion begins with attention, not speed. But here's where it gets dangerous. Some use this rootedness as spiritual bypassing, avoiding life's sharp edges by hiding in eternal nouns. True mastery isn't about escaping time, it's about inhabiting it fully. The Stoics understood this paradox. Epictetus spoke of being present to act, not present to avoid. You recognize these souls by their effect on your nervous system. Sit near one for 10 minutes and your breathing naturally deepens. Your thoughts slow down without effort. They function like human tuning forks, resonating stability that others unconsciously crave. Their challenge isn't learning to be present, they've mastered that. Their test is learning when presence serves action and when it serves avoidance. The difference determines whether they become wise guides or escapist philosophers. Number 5. The endless strivers. Do you feel a strange discomfort whenever life becomes too peaceful, as if contentment itself is somehow betraying your potential? You embody the energy of perpetual motion, the soul that treats the present moment as merely a launching pad for the next achievement. These endless strivers don't compete with others primarily. They wage war against their own limitations, constantly measuring today's self against tomorrow's possibility. Their field vibrates with restless ambition that makes stillness feel like stagnation. What drives this relentless energy isn't dissatisfaction with life, it's addiction to growth itself. They've discovered that the moment between wanting something and achieving it contains more aliveness than actually having it. So they unconsciously engineer new desires the moment old ones are fulfilled, keeping themselves in permanent pursuit mode. This creates what psychologists call hedonic adaptation on steroids. While normal people adjust to new circumstances and find equilibrium, strivers adjust by immediately raising their standards, ensuring they never quite arrive at satisfaction. Their energy field broadcasts this constant reaching, making others around them feel either inspired or exhausted. But here's the hidden cost. Endless striving becomes a sophisticated form of present moment avoidance. If you're always becoming, you never have to face the anxiety of simply being. The pursuit protects you from confronting whether who you are right now is enough. The Stoics distinguished between preferred outcomes and attachment to outcomes. Your drive becomes wisdom when it serves expansion rather than escape, when it emerges from abundance rather than the fear that your current self is insufficient. Before going further, kindly check the subscription status. Thanks. Big thanks to Ragnar Landit and Sean Ludolf, our first ever members. Just click on the join button below. It's the best way to support our channel. Welcome to the den. Number 6. The invisible presence. Still water reflects the stars, but stagnant water breeds disease. Zen proverb. Do people constantly tell you their deepest secrets within minutes of meeting you, even though you barely said a word? You've mastered what most people never learn: energetic humility. While others broadcast their thoughts and emotions like radio stations, you contain your field close to your body. You've learned to hold your energy without projecting it onto others. Think of yourself as a still pond in a world of rushing rivers. People sense your non-reactive presence, and something deep in their nervous system relaxes. They feel safe to reveal what they usually guard because your field signals zero judgment, zero agenda. You're not trying to fix them, impress them, or use their vulnerability. This is rarer than gold. The ancient practice of apatheia that Stoics cultivated wasn't about becoming emotionless. It was about achieving this exact quality, feeling deeply while remaining unmoved by the need to react. Your natural temperament embodies what philosophers spend lifetimes trying to develop, but the Stoic sees the trap. This profound stillness can become a fortress of isolation. You mistake non-interference for wisdom, silence for strength. The Roman Seneca warned, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Are you truly anchored or hiding? True power isn't just holding energy. It's directing it with surgical precision when virtue demands. Your restraint isn't a retreat. It's a coiled spring. Watch them in groups. They speak rarely, but when they do, rooms fall silent, not from charisma, but from the weight of withheld presence suddenly released. Your gift isn't absence, it's choice. You conserve energy, not to hoard it, but to spend it where it matters. A single question that unravels a lie, a touch that halts a panic attack, a silence that speaks louder than sermons. You understand that real power doesn't announce itself. The question becomes, are you using this understanding to serve others, or to protect yourself from the vulnerability of being truly seen? Number 7. The empathic receivers. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately known someone had been crying there, even though it looked perfectly normal? You possess what psychologists call emotional contagion on steroids. While most people catch obvious emotions like laughter or anger, you're picking up the residual frequencies that linger in spaces long after the drama has ended. Your nervous system functions like a sophisticated radar, detecting emotional signatures others miss completely. These receivers often mistake their gift for social anxiety. They pause at doorways, not from fear, but from instinctive assessment. Their bodies are processing invisible information, translating emotional atmospheres into physical sensations. A tight chest might signal unresolved conflict. Sudden fatigue could indicate someone's depression still hanging in the air. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive persons in 1996 revealed that roughly 20% of the population has heightened sensory processing. But here's the brutal truth. Without boundaries, this gift becomes a curse. You absorb others' emotions, like a sponge absorbs water, until you can't distinguish between your feelings and theirs. The Stoic approach offers clarity here. Marcus Aurelius wrote about maintaining the fortress of the mind. For receivers, this means learning to observe emotional information without absorbing it. You can read the room without becoming the room. Your challenge isn't turning off your sensitivity. That's impossible. Your mastery lies in conscious filtering, choosing which emotions deserve your attention and which you'll acknowledge then release. Number 8. The cosmic conduit. Have you ever felt the sky's pulse echo through your bones, as if the universe itself whispered your name? You don't ponder your link to stars or trees, you live it in every breath, Your mood, rising and falling with the tides of the heavens. Scientific research on nature-relatedness by Meyer in France in 2004 shows that this deep bond fosters well-being and purpose, not mere daydreaming. You aren't poetic for effect. Your body hums with cosmic frequency, a living antenna tuning into the world's hidden harmonies. These cosmic resonators don't think their way into spiritual connection. They feel it in their bones. Their nervous systems haven't been completely domesticated by civilization. They still retain the ancestral capacity to read natural rhythms. But beware the gravity of hypersensitivity, the over-identification that can blur your boundaries with all things. When you lose yourself in the cosmic chorus, you risk dissolving into the void, mistaking unity for loss of self. Even the Gaia hypothesis, proposed by James Lovelock in 1979, warns against seeing Earth as you alone. It reminds us that balance requires distinction as much as connection. True mastery for the cosmic conduit lies in grounded expansion. As Seneca advised, be present on Earth, even as your mind roams the stars. Anchor your gifts by daily rituals. Touch a stone, breathe deeply, note its texture, then release into the cosmic stream. You perceive the whole while preserving your singular spark. How will you honor the cosmos without fading into it? Number 9. The fake identity masters. Have you ever felt strangely drained after talking to someone who seemed to shine too brightly, as if their light sucked yours away? You, the aura farmer, tend a garden of projected energy, cultivating charisma, authority, even mystery, so precisely that every interaction becomes a performance plot. You plant seeds of attraction, sharp eye contact, measured gestures, carefully chosen words, and watch as others bloom in your presence. This selective projection grants you influence, like a master painter layering colors to evoke a mood. Modern leadership coaches call this presence management, a conscious craft of shaping impressions to achieve goals. Goffey and Jones, in 2006. You wield it like a tool, pruning excess vulnerability to display only the traits that serve you. Beware the emptiness beneath the facade, the inauthentic echo that hollows your own core. When your field extends only forward, you expose your back. Hidden fears and doubts waiting in the dark. Manipulation may yield power, yet it risks alienation when the performance cracks. They are like assassins. These aura farmers operates with the same lethal elegance. Every glance, every gesture, meticulously honed to harvest energy from those around you. You watch them wield charisma like a sharpened dagger, planting seeds of intrigue and authority, then drawing out admiration and deference with surgical accuracy. But beneath this crafted veneer lies a hollow core, an inauthentic echo that risks shattering the performance when the mask slips. Like the assassin who must disappear into the shadows after the strike, the aura farmer's true self remains concealed, vulnerable, exposed, waiting for the blade of accountability. Number 10. The invisible hands. The wind does not break the reed that bends. The sculptor does not fight the stone, they converse. Zen koan. Ever seen someone gesture and felt the air shift around them, like their hands weren't just moving, they were sculpting? That's the energy manipulator. You might feel this in your own fingertips. When you focus, warmth blooms in your palms. When you speak, your hands draw arcs in space. Not random fidgeting, but directing currents. You don't just sense energy, you work with it. You don't simply gesture, you channel. Your palms become conduits, focusing biofield energy, much like a blacksmith tames molten metal. Some call it Reiki, others Qigong, traditions dating back centuries. But modern research into therapeutic touch, Rosen et al. In 2001, suggests that intention alone can alter physiological states in receivers, lowering heart rate and soothing. You wield this gift not for spectacle, but for precision, extending your field like an artisan's brushstroke, coaxing harmony from chaos. But beware the temptation of overreach. the subtle coercion that blurs the line between healing and control. When you push your energy outward, without consent or care, you risk bending others' will to your own, eroding trust like corrosion beneath a sculpture. As Epictetus reminds us, nature hath given men one tongue, but two ears, honoring others' boundaries, even as you extend your own. But the Stoic sees the razor's edge. Power tempts corruption. True mastery for the energy manipulator lies in sacred reciprocity. Ground yourself first. Root your practice in daily stillness, feeling each breath as it flows through your body. Then offer your field as a gift, not a mandate. In doing so, you become both healer and guardian, channeling energy with integrity and respect. How will you ensure your power uplifts rather than overpowers? Their biofield extends beyond skin, a tangible force. Number 11. The synergistic weavers. Do you have that one friend who somehow makes everyone in the group more intelligent, funnier, and more creative just by being present? You're witnessing energetic alchemy in action. These synergistic weavers create something that transcends individual capacity. They generate coherent fields where everyone's energy amplifies rather than competes. Unlike the takers who drain rooms or the performers who dominate them, these souls establish circuits of mutual enhancement. Watch what happens when two weavers meet. Their fields don't just connect, they create a third field more powerful than either could generate alone. Like tuning forks that make each other resonate more strongly, their combined presence elevates everyone within range. Conversations become more insightful, ideas flow more freely, and people leave feeling expanded rather than depleted. This dynamic operates through what psychologists call positive emotional contagion, but it goes deeper than mood transfer. These interactions create temporary increases in cognitive capacity, emotional regulation, and creative problem solving. The whole literally becomes greater than the sum of its parts. But here's the shadow aspect most people miss. Some weavers become addicted to these high synergy connections, unable to function well in ordinary interactions. They chase peak experiences and dismiss normal human exchanges as insufficient, creating a different kind of spiritual materialism. Aristotle understood friendship as the highest form of relationship because it generates virtue in both parties. Number 12. The Equilibrium Masters. Have you ever met someone who remains mysteriously calm during absolute chaos? Not because they're detached, but because they seem to process everything perfectly in real time. You're observing the rarest energetic configuration, perfect equilibrium between receiving and transmitting. These equilibrium masters maintain what engineers call dynamic stability, constantly adjusting their internal balance to handle whatever energy flows through them without distortion or accumulation. Unlike other types who specialize in specific, these souls have developed comprehensive processing capacity. They take in intense experiences fully, metabolize them completely, and release them without residue. Watch how they move through crisis situations. They're present for every detail, but don't carry the emotional weight afterward. Their energy flows vertically through their system, like water through a clear channel. Nothing gets stuck, nothing gets amplified unnecessarily, nothing gets suppressed. This creates an unusual calm that others unconsciously reference during instability, like having a human gyroscope in the room that helps everyone else find their center. The shadow side is subtle but significant. Perfect processing can become perfect detachment. Some masters use their equilibrium to avoid the messy engagement that genuine relationship requires. They process everything but connect with nothing, becoming spiritual machines rather than feeling humans. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from perfect acceptance of what flows through experience. But true mastery isn't about becoming an empty channel. It's about maintaining your humanity while serving as a stabilizing force for others. Number 13. The Luminous Broadcasters. Do you know someone who literally lights up rooms when they enter? Not just because they're trying to get attention, but because something about their presence naturally elevates everyone's energy? You're witnessing what happens when internal coherence reaches critical mass and begins radiating outward automatically. These luminous broadcasters don't project energy through technique or intention. They simply overflow with such consistent high-frequency patterns that their field expands naturally in all directions, like a sphere of influence. Unlike the directional projectors who aim their energy forward, these souls radiate equally everywhere. Their presence affects the person behind them just as much as the one in front. People report sudden mood elevation, mental clarity, and energy increases when broadcasters enter their vicinity, often without any direct interaction. The key difference is authenticity. While aura farmers manufacture charisma through conscious manipulation, broadcasters generate light through inner alignment. Their radiance emerges from genuine coherence between their thoughts, emotions, and values. You can't fake this quality because it stems from integrated wholeness rather than performance. But here's the burden nobody talks about. Constant broadcasting is exhausting when you can't turn it off. These souls often struggle with privacy, as their energy signature draws people like moths to flame, whether they want attention or not. The Stoic principle of virtue as its own reward applies here. True radiance isn't about affecting others. It's about living in such alignment with your highest nature that light naturally emerges as a byproduct. Number 14. The mind transmitters. Have you suddenly found yourself thinking about something completely random, only to have the person next to you start talking about that exact topic moments later? You've encountered a mind transmitter. Someone whose thoughts broadcast with such intensity that nearby brains begin resonating with their mental frequency. This isn't telepathy in the mystical sense. It's cognitive induction through bioelectric field interaction. Their mental activity creates measurable electromagnetic patterns that influence surrounding neural networks. These transmitters don't realize they're doing it. They think intensely, and their thoughts leak into the local field, where weaker or more receptive minds pick them up as spontaneous ideas. You've experienced this when a foreign thought suddenly appears in your awareness, feeling distinctly different from your usual mental patterns. Research by Dr. Rupert Sheldrake on morphic fields suggests that consciousness creates information patterns that can influence other minds through non-local connections. While controversial, his work offers a framework for understanding how some individuals naturally transmit mental content. Here's where it gets dangerous. Powerful transmitters can unconsciously override other people's thought processes, especially in group settings. Their mental dominance shapes conversations without anyone realizing the source of sudden topic shifts or unanimous opinions that seem to emerge from nowhere. Marcus Aurelius warned about the responsibility that comes with influence. If your thoughts can affect others, then thinking becomes a moral act. Every mental pattern you broadcast either contributes to clarity or confusion in the collective field. 15. The perfectionist warriors. Have you ever felt that burning rage when something is 95% right, but the missing 5% makes the entire effort worthless in your eyes? You carry the energy signature of uncompromising excellence. The perfectionist warrior who would rather abandon a project completely than accept mediocre execution. These souls operate on a binary system. Either something meets their exacting standards or it doesn't exist at all. There's no middle ground in their energetic field, no good enough frequency that others can tune into. What makes them formidable is their willingness to destroy their own work if it falls short of their vision, while others can accept partial success or imperfect job if at least it works. Perfectionist warriors will scrap months of effort for a single flaw that nobody else would notice. Their field broadcasts this all-or-nothing intensity, making people around them either step up their game or step away entirely. Research by Dr. Bren Brown on perfectionism reveals it as a form of armor against vulnerability, but these warriors have weaponized that armor. They use impossibly high standards as both motivation and protection, ensuring they're either absolutely right or completely withdrawn from the arena. But here's where it becomes toxic. Their anger isn't really about external imperfection. It's about their own inability to control outcomes completely. When they project this rage onto others, they create environments where people become paralyzed by the fear of not meeting unmeetable standards. Marcus Aurelius wrote about accepting what is, while working toward what could be. True mastery means holding your standards high, while accepting that perfection is a direction, not a destination. Your excellence serves others when it inspires, not when it intimidates. End of transmission. Your field evolves. Command it. Thanks for watching.